Hi, and welcome to Weaving Words into Stories for Genre Fiction Writers. I'm your host, Selina, and I'm a fiction book coach, a paranormal romance and horror writer, and I'm just somebody who loves a lot of tarot reading. I'm thrilled to have you here today with me on this creative journey. My mission is all about helping to inspire you and your imagination and empowering you to believe in yourself as a writer to write the stories that have been calling to your heart. Whether you're a seasoned author or just starting out, this podcast is packed with invaluable insights and inspiration from talented genre fiction writers that I might interview to me just being the fiction book coach that I am, the paranormal romance and horror writer that I am, and somebody who just loves tarot. So in each episode, we'll dive deep into writing questions and sometimes tarot, or we might even have that engaging conversation with another author to help you elevate your craft. So let's get started and have some fun discovering some practical tips to help you to apply to your own creative writing practice. I'm going to do a tarot card, and today I have picked the Nine of Pentacles Reversed. So this, when I put it up the right way, is a woman standing. This is the Rider-Waite tarot deck. There's a woman standing in a lush garden and she's got pentacles all around her. She's got a beautiful yellow outfit on and a red cap and a bird on her hand. She's really well placed financially. She's almost coming to the point of fruition of her dreams, but it's reversed. So what does that mean? Reversed, the Nine of Pentacles, means at this point it's about your self-worth and the value that you put on your time and your creativity. So I'd like you to take a moment to think about, how do you feel about yourself and your creativity and your self-worth when it comes to creating and writing stories? What are you bringing into the world? And what are you nurturing within yourself? Have you ever wondered whether you are enough as a writer or whether your skills as writing will ever be good enough to have that story published? If so, I think you're quite normal, actually. That's a normal part of the writing process, to feel a little bit anxious about your writing and whether you're good enough. I often hear writers saying, I don't know, is my story good enough? Well, really, that's about your writing skills and developing your craft writing skills. It's not about you as a human being. Our stories are a part of us, but they are not the whole part of us. And we need, in some ways, to take a little bit of a distance from equating our creativity with our self-worth. What I want to say right now is you are good enough already, just the way you are. If you are breathing and existing, you're good enough. And you're valuable in this world, and you don't have to be anything other than that. And you just need to listen to your inner muse and write the story of your own creative heart. Writing a story and developing your author voice, as well as your storytelling craft writing skills, is all about learning to do things that maybe you're not familiar with yet and you're still learning. So we need to learn, and then we need to apply what we've learned to our creative writing. Then it's really important to get feedback from a trusted source. And that helps us to find the opportunities to improve our fiction writing, which in essence then builds the story up and layers it so that it is good enough for publication. But this is a process of learning. So you learn and you apply, you get feedback, you grow, you apply that feedback and you learn, but always be discerning. So as you develop your writing skills and surround yourself with a more supportive community, you can even hire a fiction book coach if you don't have that kind of support at this point. You do grow in confidence, and I promise you, you will grow in confidence as a writer. Writing is a skill like anything else. I mean, none of us were born being able to walk. We fell over a lot of times and we got back up and we had to keep walking, had to keep trying. Our parents didn't say, oh, don't worry, just keep crawling. They let us fall over, stand back up on wobbly legs and keep going. So we learned that we needed to build balance, and we did that by trying again. And it's the same sort of thing with creative writing. Remember that your story writing skills can always be improved. It's one of the best things about writing. We don't have to have it all sorted out at the start. We do not need to be perfect. We do not need to write a perfect first draft. It's possible to write a completely shitty first draft and it still have a fabulous time. And I say take the pressure off that, but value yourself in a more authentic way. Now, sometimes we have a fear as writers that it keeps coming up saying, my writing isn't good enough. And look at this proof over here. I didn't do as well in this competition, or that judge said X, Y, and Z, and they said I'm telling and not showing, and I still can't work out how to do that. Believe me, I've been there. Oh boy, have I been there. And you kind of get stuck in this feedback loop and it's kind of negative. But the truth is we can step back from that and we can get objective assistance from editors and book coaches and even some very good beta readers who know what they're talking about on what needs to be developed in your writing. But if this fear is talking to you, I really would like you to stop and take a moment and go, by whose standards am I measuring whether my story and my ability to write is good enough? Who is actually saying that to you in your mind? Where did that come from? Is it your voice or is it someone else's voice from the past? Think about what is that fear of your writing not being good enough, comparing your current writing to, is there a part of you that is taking your very first or second or third draft and then looking at somebody who has years of experience, who's been multiple published, who's been through editing after edit and proofreading and all that sort of stuff? Are you comparing your story with that kind of writing? Because I'm just going to ask you to take a step back right now and think about it in a different way. Because when we compare our drafts and our writing process with something that's already been through all of that kind of messy draft to being created into its own version of good enough to be published, if we do that, it's a recipe for our own pain and emotional suffering. And I'm not sure about you, but I don't like being in pain and emotionally suffering. I'd rather that be my characters than me. It's really important to remember that a published story has been through numerous edits. It's been through numerous drafts. It's had beta readers, alpha readers. It's probably had multiple developmental or structural edits. It's probably had a copy edit, and then it's had a line edit to make sure that all of the words and the grammar and the punctuation work. And then it will probably have a proofreader, depending on the author and where it's from. That is like comparing a rough stone that you've just dug out of the ground, your writing, for example, with a faceted, polished diamond. It is worlds apart, and I'm not saying you can't get there. You absolutely can get there. It's just about having some perspective. Don't try to compare what you're currently creating with something that's published at this point, because it's kind of like a circular thing that will only end up in a dark place for you. And I don't want that for you or any of us. I want us all to find our way forward to getting our stories on the page. I'm going to invite you to take a little action step right now. What I'd really love you to do is think about something and possibly do some journaling on it. I'd like you to create an entry in your journal for gratitude for yourself and for your writing. I'd like you to think about what skills have you already learned as a creative writer? Like go back to when you first started writing. What have you already learned? Write that down. Give thanks for it. This is progress. Sometimes we need to take a step back from comparing ourselves to others and start seeing how far we've actually come and begin to value ourselves and our own creative process. Give thanks to the achievements that you've already got along the way. Like, okay, so if you got some good feedback on a competition, that's an achievement. If you put in something into a competition, that's an achievement. Did you write your very first draft for the very first time? And yes, it's all telling. Don't worry, that's an achievement, because it's all about building skills. I'm not talking about being egotistical here. I'm talking about acknowledging how far you've come already. Now think about the value that you and your story is bringing to others. Right now, your story might not be ready for publication. It might not be ready for anybody to read. That's fine. But you are changing along the way as you're writing your story. You are becoming the author you want to be. That's a real transformation, and it's worth celebrating. So I'd love for you to write about that. Think about how far you've come and think about how you've changed because of your writing practice and your story development. And think about what is it you love about writing. Write that down too, and really take some time to consider the good things about your writing practice. Like, where are you already strong as a writer? Think about what's positive. Someone else has said about your writing or your story or your character, and write that down. Because especially when things get hard or tough in writing, it's good to have these reminders of how far you've come, this celebration board, this gratitude journal. Where in your writing or your story do you need assistance? I mean, this is as important as finding the positives. We all have writing blind spots. We all have writing weaknesses, and we can all improve them. But if we don't know where they are, we can't do anything about it. The only problem is when we start to fixate on them and go into a mindset of I can't fix this and I'm never going to be able to do it. That's not a helpful mindset. Reframe it. Who do I need to reach out to get the assistance to help me to build the skill that I need to become the writer I want to be? That's a better question. Now, I'd really love for you to think about, and I invite you to, write a very small piece that celebrates all the good things about you and your writing right now. Include things like your author voice and describe how it's changed since you started writing. You don't have to show this to anybody. I just want to invite you to write it, to read it, and to reflect on just how amazing you already are and the amazing job you're already doing. Because there's too many times that we look at the negative or the things that are not happening fast enough and we beat ourselves up. But ultimately, we need to be better at being our own best friend, our own best supporter. So the 9 of Pentacles Reversed is asking you to value yourself a little bit more, to value your writing process a little bit more, to practice some self-care and self-love and see how far you've already come. Now, I invite you to let me know how you're going with this in the comments. Do leave a review, share this with your friends, your writer friends, if you've loved it. And if you're struggling too, or if you are just interested, I also read tarot for people, for writers who want to overcome, say, writing blockages or challenges that they might be having, or even look at the characters for the goal, motivation, conflict, and their stakes or their story plot. If you're interested in that, I have a 60-minute tarot reading available for $110 or a 90-minute one, which is about 150 Australian dollars. You can find them at my website at empoweredwords.com.au. Otherwise, I'd love you to subscribe to this podcast, to my YouTube channel, which is Selina Shapland Empowered Words and A Sense of Wonder, the podcast. Or you can join my Substack newsletter and become a subscriber, and I'll be doing some private group work for those who do subscribe and do a membership with me. And we can pull a card once a month, or we can do some coaching in a group style, and we can talk about writing and help you to accelerate your creative writing now. Okay. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Selina from empoweredwords.com.au. Thanks for being with me on weaving words into stories for genre fiction writers.